This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, all. I'd like to call the Village of Ephraim Board meeting to order. It is Friday, August 21, 2026 at 12 p.m. And we have a quorum.
We do.
Mr. Administrator, thank you. Then under 3, Administration A, discussion and consideration regarding submitting an offer to purchase a used mini pumper truck for the Ephraim Fire Department. Brett, I'll let you set the stage since, I don't know, Justin, he wants to spend $300,000 and he doesn't show up. What kind of guy is this?
What, is he in the hospital or something?
No, that was 2 days ago.
Not even on TV?
Anyway, I had to give him a jab because he'd be here if he could.
I got it.
But if you set the table, then we can have a good discussion.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to offer other than, Justin gave me a heads up a couple of days ago that this is something that the department was looking at, to keep me posted, and, we'll get whatever agendas and meetings scheduled, as time allows. I won't attempt to steal too much of John's thunder here, but I think the impetus to have the meeting in short order is whether it's town, city, county, whatever it is, board where the fire truck resides, is having a board meeting on Monday. So they need to receive, if we're to make an offer, it has to happen very quickly. So that's the nature of the timeliness of what brought us here. But with that, I've got the report that John submitted last night. Some other documentation here in the packet. I'll do my best to scroll along with you, John, and any questions. And I've also got information on how much sits in capital reserve. And again, a little bit of this is made some assumptions on what should be in this packet, stuff Justin probably would have put together himself had he been here. But whether it's still current or not, the last kind of capital replacement plan that we had seen for vehicle replacement at the fire department. So I included that in the packet as well. So as the conversation progresses, I'll try to stick with whatever we need to be looking at the time.
Before I turn over to John, has everybody had a chance? I know it came to us late, but John, you put together the email?
Yes.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to go through it? If not, would we like John to walk us through it again?
Yes, I read it.
Okay, everybody's read it?
Yeah.
To save you, maybe what I'd ask you to do is, I think there's 3 or 4 highlights that really kind of rationalize why should we buy this and what does it do for us. So maybe let's hit on the high points.
Well, the existing truck that we have, bought back in 1999 or 2000. I know it was a demo truck that Niles and Phil Weber had bought to, the primary goal with that truck was to be able to get in restricted access areas like North Shore Road. We all know what that's like. If there was a structure fire, to get in there and make a quick attack, with the bigger trucks being what they are, hard to get in there and with the 4-wheel drive and everything. So that was their theory at the time, way back then. But as the fire service has evolved and our requirements have changed, mandating what we have for staffing to even start a structure fire attack, we need to have at least 4 people on the initial apparatus to be able to safely do that and cover ourselves for liability. So that's why we were, we've gone and we've looked at 4-door pickup truck style, newer trucks, and, we keep coming back to the style that this one is with the custom, they call it a custom cab, because, only built for fire trucks. It says seating for 6. It has 5 seats that carry the air packs, so you can be gearing up as you're on the way to the scene. And then there's also an air pack in the compartment for the operator if he needs it, or she. So you know, this one, Mackinac Island has one of these, and they were pretty popular. It's kind of a niche market for them. But we keep coming back to this model that unfortunately they don't offer anymore because of the size constraints with the emission controls. Just takes up so much space that it makes it impractical to build anymore. But this one just happened to pop up in the last week or 10 days, and you know, going back and forth with the broker and all of that, and you know, it's kind of checks all the boxes for what we're looking for to improve our capabilities. The way it is right now, I've spelled it out a little bit in the email. We're kind of stuck with, you know, the truck that we have now really doesn't get utilized much like it should be because of the limitations of being a stick shift and two-man cab, and it does traffic control, and you know, we'll take it on mutual aid for water supply and things like that. But other than that, we've got our extrication tools are on our main pumper, our cribbing and blocking and stuff like that that we would need for a car accident is in the squad that we have, the rescue truck, and then you know, hand tools and stuff are in the pickup truck pumper. So when you have to have all that right at the incident where you're working on the car or whatever it may be, that takes away from being able to provide traffic control and whatever else. So, you know, ideally, the way I see it working is if we were to proceed with this new truck, however, if it was this one or later down the road, whatever, you know, have everything, all the extrication equipment on one vehicle, and then have it supported by the squad with the additional cribbing and stuff like that. And then we would be able to not have everything on our main structural pumper that is very overloaded because of the way we have to carry the equipment. You know, sometimes you have to watch your toes when you open the compartments. So that's kind of a nutshell of what our reasoning is. And unfortunately, this being a short deadline for putting in a bid, here we are.
Thank you. Before we go around the table and ask questions and so forth, Brent, you want to kind of lay out, we have a capital account for fire equipment, and we recently adjusted it. We had something that called fire department equipment, and we had another one that was called all fire funds. And we combined those two. The all fire funds was a small amount, but according to what I have, not including the 26 contribution, those two together are, I think, $394,000 if you add those two together. And that was our intention. We're going to combine them for this financial year when we go into finance. And then we're also making a $70,000 a year contribution. So that's how we, you know, build up the accrual for equipment.
Yeah.
Now, when we bought that mini pumper some years ago, we actually had to take a loan from the village for this account.
No, I think that was when we bought Engine 8, the main,
The mini pumper, I meant
Yeah.
engine, the
Yeah.
pumper.
Yeah.
The main engine.
yeah, I forget exact numbers, how much was set aside there, but,
No, it's a,
well, there, it's
So you bought,
I think that was that payback line item that carries forward. I think they were short $186,000.
they bought that in 2012? Is that?
That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
Justin's spreadsheet on
Yeah.
all your equipment.
Yeah.
Just to kind of set the stage, so that's the money that we have right now. And that's how we fund it every year, so.
Yeah.
maybe I'll quit there and just, I'll start with Rick or,
I have a few things to say.
you know what, I apologize.
That's
Normally,
Yeah,
normally I would be asking you for a recommendation.
yeah.
Because I got a text from some of your members.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm not surprised about
Okay.
that. So, because of the timeline, we have not actually met, and I can't have any sort of official statement or recommendation from the committee, but I have had a chance in the last 24 hours to speak to everyone. And, we have periodically over the last couple of years talked about that this is the number one replacement on the list. It is getting older. Some of the things that we haven't actually hit on, and I am not going to explain it really well, is our insurance rating does depend on the type of equipment that we have. And so I asked Justin specifically if this would help or, increase our insurance ability or rating. And he said they wouldn't be able to know for sure until it's reevaluated, but it does increase the pump capacity. So that is something that while making these decisions, it's taken into consideration. So just wanted to kind of point that out. And I think while we didn't get to go through the formal committee process, which has upset some people, I'll just make note of that. Timing didn't allow for it, but I do think that it is a very worthwhile conversation to be having. This seems like based on a lot of, I've had a conversation with Justin, and I would love to have a larger conversation with everyone here about kind of the value that this potentially gives, and definitely not wanting to make any purchase that we don't get to set our own eyes on or get evaluated in person. I know that's something that really is something all of the committee members would want. So if we do make an offer, that would be one of the contingencies for sure. Again, not to say that's my formal recommendation from the committee, but that is one of the kind of common things that has been said in all the conversations that I had. I do have other questions that I've covered with Justin, but would want to kind of share with everyone else, but I'll stop there before going any further and letting other people ask questions as well.
Thank you for the report. Then I'll go to Rick and then I'll just go around and the table here.
Okay, you mentioned they don't make this anymore. Is there a concern as to support from the manufacturer and availability of parts? Is that a concern at all going forward?
Not really. They just discontinued that particular model, the compact rapid attack truck, they call it, because with all the regeneration equipment and everything with the EGR system and the exhaust, and it's just, the new trucks, all the emissions equipment takes up at least a third of the compartment on the passenger side of the head of the wheel. It's just crazy. The mufflers and tanks and everything have to be so big and they get so hot that they need airspace and everything. So it just wasn't practical because we had actually been talked to HME several times over the past couple of years about, building us a truck. So it's just
It's not a concern.
not a concern at all.
What year is this truck? 17?
17.
As to, my memory is good, it's just short. You said, is your intention that we're gonna get rid of the existing pickup truck?
Yes.
Small pumper, okay. What can we get on a trade for that, sort of like at the offset, to offset this?
Normally they're put on auction sites like Wisconsin Surplus, something like that, and you're
Also,
at the mercy of the market.
Gibraltar had also expressed interest in it to bring it up to Chambers Island. So I don't know, no money talks have been brought up about that, how much they'd be willing to pay or how much we would want for it.
Actually, Washington Island too, we actually responded up there with it this spring. And operated as a fill site for a barn fire, and they were kicking the tires. So
Give us a guess. Yours $10,000.
I would hope 30 to 50. I mean, it all depends on the market and, it's got 20-ish thousand miles on it, so.
I guess this question would be for the more experienced members of the board or Brent. I just don't know from the historic, let's say that it is 300,000, we decide to do it, and we get 30, go with the lower range, we get 30,000 for the other truck. Does that 30 plus 9, does that, so $124,000, that leaves vulnerable in this capital account going forward in terms of an amount that we have left in there if we do this. I don't know the history of it, if that's something that is a good amount or not afterwards.
Sorry.
Oh, yes. I was gonna say, when I get a chance, I have Justin's list of what else is coming up.
Okay,
So
I guess that's
I can review that. What are we gonna be going to this account for in the future?
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
Um,
You got a chance to, we get it.
No.
First of all, this truck will fit down all our roads.
Yeah.
Okay. And from the sounds of it, if you're gonna load it up with the cribbing, the extrication equipment, you can still fit 6 people, 5 with packs. Is this gonna be like a primary truck then? Is this the first one of the first ones
Depending on the
out?
situation.
Well, right.
Right, yeah, it'll be a first line
It
apparatus.
doesn't have to be a structure fire. I mean, you might want something else, but it sounds like any automobile accident,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there.
So for our structure, for our auto accidents, and then we can also use it depending on what they call for mutual aid.
Yeah.
So that can be considered a squad for mutual aid if we wanted to take that down, opposed to for lack of a better term, the bread truck.
Yeah. Retro.
Those rides to Bay Ship are really cold in the winter.
Yeah. I imagine.
Squad. Yeah, it would be, the vocation for each truck would be different.
Okay,
They'd be able to support each other, but,
it sounds like you'd make it more useful, but it just sounded like it would be getting more use.
yeah, and with limited staff, that happens
Right.
to everybody.
Especially.
You don't have to worry about waiting for the guys to have to take the other truck to complete the equipment that you need.
And I'll wait, I want to hear what Ken has on the other trucks that I didn't realize that this was like at the top of the list for a replacement.
Yeah, it's in the situation it is, because it's hard to drive and hard to pump with, and only carries 2 people.
As far, Rick touched on replacement parts, which seems to be kind of a racket to me. What can we do? I mean, this truck, it's 9 years old at this point. I'm sure that, code or rules are being written that's gonna make it obsolete within 5 years. I don't know from, without experience, just
Right.
rule of thumb is the stuff, they accelerate, they don't want it to last forever.
And
And if it does, they stop making parts. You don't have any, you don't have a concern with that? Are the parts for this truck like more available, more standard? Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. So like interchangeable with other current equipment?
Yep. Most fire trucks now have Cummins engines in them. That's what our big one has.
Mhm.
The problem we had at the time with the Ford is the interface between the pump controls and the Ford engine controls were a very limited, short duration thing. So when the pump controls started failing, luckily we have a really good apparatus company that we work with, was able to basically build a system to make it work. So, which is a little clumsy to operate if you don't do it frequently. But, and also, when we had our officers meeting, he was conference called in with us. He had reviewed the specs and everything and had a few questions that we had answered about different things on it, but he thought it was okay truck.
Pretty much everything that's on there is built for other trucks as well. So the reason that this one is discontinued, like John was saying, is just because with all the new emissions stuff, it takes up so much space that you're losing cabinet space to put your tools and everything else. So it makes it less effective because you can't carry all the stuff that you need.
Okay, so that the chassis is kind of the limitation there.
Yeah.
Right.
But the
Like
good
the
news
pump
is
and everything
it
is
has in
all,
good shape.
yeah.
The emission components that are on this truck, are they still available, still being made?
Yes, and they are early emissions, which are much simpler.
No, I imagine that, but, and that's why I fear that they're gonna become obsolete.
Right. But being that it's Cummins and, all the over-the-road trucks have to have it,
Okay, there are a lot of old
we're
Cummins
comfortable
out
with
there.
that.
That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Tim. Matt?
My first point would be is that this truck here new would be like $1 million. And this is at 300,000 with low miles, low use. The other thing that is important to me is that it gets into the tight spaces that we have in our village. And if you look at that truck back, it has one single wide tire versus dualies, which is kind of a unique thing to this. As for the money thing, yes, it depletes what we have there to a certain amount. However, it's on the top of their list, and not to go too far into it, but we've talked about using room tax, not for operating, but for increasing our equipment line replacement instead of handicapping ourselves off the budget. So that isn't a great concern to me. The biggest concern for me is that if we were to put a bid in and won the bid, that we have someone professionally go over the machine or the fire truck to make sure that we're getting exactly what they're quoting. That would be my biggest concern.
Can we get that as part of like an offer to purchase?
Yes.
A right of refusal?
Yes, I believe so.
And the pump was tested last year and passed the pump test, so that's.
But I mean, if we're gonna spend this much, I would like to see somebody certified say that this is exactly what you're getting, is what they're quoting us.
So those people are available?
In
I'm
New York.
sure they would be, okay, even, the way we're figuring it is if we move forward and are awarded the bid or whatever you want to call it, we would fly out there and, if Dave, the owner of the Red Power, the company that does our equipment maintenance, were to go out there with us, we'd do it that way. And that was, our number one contingency on the officers list was, in-person inspection of the truck before we would, accept the offer.
Yeah? Anyone?
Carly, go ahead.
A lot of the kind of things that I wanted to make have been brought up, so appreciate that. I guess one quote that I'll just quote and not actually quote that person or name that person is, we just don't want to buy someone else's problem. So just to reiterate Matt's comment is making sure that, we feel really confident that the inspection is, top to bottom. Making sure not just the components that they say are there, but that they're all functioning properly and
Right.
Feel really good about who that person is that is inspecting it and that we're getting as good of a deal as it looks like right now, right? And I think this has been covered as well, is just making, based on our understanding of the current mini pumper, it has pretty low utilization. But it sounds like it's really because of so many of the restrictions.
Yeah,
And this would, confirm that this would mean that this is going to be used much more and be able to solve kind of some of the issues that we find.
mhm. Yeah, recently we've had fuel issues with that truck that we had to take care of, simply because it doesn't get used enough. So,
I think that's it for now for me.
Thank you, Carly. Couple questions. I am concerned about parts. About a 9-year-old vehicle. What I'm hearing right now is the 99 that we bought new. One of the problems we have right now is getting parts. Now, I'm happy to hear it has a Cummins engine, and I'm happy to hear that you're saying the pumps and the big ticket items are also used as equipment on trucks you're selling today.
Mhm.
So but it's today with all the electronics and so forth, you get an emission, you get fooled by a little part that.
yeah, there was a period of time, in late 2000, early 2000s, where everybody was transitioning to electric valves and flow controls and all kinds of things that, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Mhm.
And, now it's getting to the point with cars, boats, everything, where the industry standards are kind of coming together where, I work on boats, so, Ray Marine used to have their own network and cables and stuff like that. And Furuno had theirs, and Simrad, and it was the same with aftermarket car parts, and, fire trucks are the same way, This has a hail pump, they had hail pump controllers, but with the CAN bus systems now all being uniform under a single computer code, that allows, a wider range of equipment to be available to control the pump and everything like that. So the later stuff like this one is a lot more reliable, and, there aren't one-off builds like there used to be. I know when Sister Bay got their last big pumper that's gone now, that had a lot of gremlins in it, and it was just that period of time where all the apparatus manufacturers were pushing all these extras that turned out to be nightmares when you mix electricity and water.
Yeah.
So, they're a lot better than they used to be.
And I guess that is an advantage to me of buying something low mileage used, because it's been sorted out already.
Mhm.
Somebody else sorted it out. This sounds ridiculous, a little old lady and one owner, but this indeed was just one fire department that owned this vehicle.
To the best of my knowledge,
Right,
yeah.
at least that's what I read. I think that's a positive.
Downsizing their fleet is what.
Whether that's, it could be for any number of reasons, change in administration of the fire department, or they're consolidating with somebody, who knows?
These guys are dealers, right? They're dancing with all the girls, so I think we gotta take what they say with a grain of salt.
Right.
But it's based on, your knowledge, Justin's knowledge, and
Mhm.
having more standardized equipment. And I agree with you, the whole industry, even pollution control, is going to more standardized. We're not everybody working on their own little approach to it. What I wanted to go through a little bit is Justin had given us a list of his priority in equipment, and this was top on his list. And he had estimated $400,000 to $500,000. And that was, we forced him to give us his best guesstimate of what this equipment would cost. But there's two other things on the list, not big ticket things, but that called for replacement in 2024, which was the IH equipment van. Where do we, now that wasn't, it wasn't a big, well, 75 to 200,000.
That would be the tender,
Okay,
international tanker.
yeah, that's a 95, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
an
let's say
international
that's
squad.
It's a
Okay.
squad.
Oh, there it is,
Squad,
okay.
Yeah, I thought that- someone called it a, did you call
The
it?
equipment
a-
tanker.
The
Yeah.
bread, the
Red
bread
truck,
truck,
three-way truck.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, just, when is that, that's something that supposedly we originally thought was gonna be replaced 2 years ago. Is
Right.
that something that's coming up in the next year or two that we should be thinking about? And I'm still not sure I know the vehicle, you called the bread truck.
It's the rescue.
It's our squad that we carry personnel on. It's got the air, so we can refill our air packs. It's
Okay,
got the air.
Ice
belts on there.
rescue, rope rescue, all that
okay,
equipment.
okay.
The one that's in the front over here.
Looks like a
that-
UPS truck,
Now, I know the
only
one.
the right color.
Yeah, maybe we could sell to UPS. So what's your best guess? I'm trying to figure out what's coming up down the line that we need to have money for.
Yeah, it's kind of, obviously, I don't think any of us on our department feel that would be a good investment for the village to spec a brand new one. For, our run volume and everything, it's kind of, depends what comes along and when we're ready for it. And, the biggest thing is that it fits in the space we have.
Right.
That's, kind of the linchpin on what we're able to do with the apparatus right now is being able to walk between them.
And to that also, like it's the tender on the next line, it's not
Right.
gonna be replaced.
Right.
That one, they generally don't make trucks that size that are gonna fit in this station. So we're bound to that one until we can either find it to get a bigger station, or, it's just that truck is most likely, it sounds like we'll replace the tank on it before we have to replace the whole truck itself. Just because of the limitations of the station that we're in. So that one may be a handful of years down the road. I don't know what, if there's any talks or plans on expanding the station or, any of that. I don't know where that stands, but,
Right.
so that one would be probably a little bit further down as far as the equipment van though. It's gotten us through this far
Mhm.
and.
It's still serviceable? You're able to get parts and so forth for those two?
Yeah. It's just, cost benefit, if something major were to happen, what do we do? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have a lot of miles on it. That came from Franklin down by Milwaukee, so that's got low mileage on it too. But, it is what it is.
The big ticket item that's our big pumper, that's 2037. So we're talking about 10, 11 years down the road. We put $70,000 in this year. That is part of our budget. As you might know, the way Wisconsin works, we can't just raise our taxes beyond basically what we're taxing right now. So we're kind of like, Matt mentioned, we do get room tax. And we get the Premier Resort, they have 4% sales tax. And those are bringing in $550 a year. But the thing is, that's how we fund, we've got to do work on this building.
Right.
And then there's going to be other capital projects. So I, for one, I would hate to start using that because then we have no place else to go. Unless we can always take a loan and that could go over everything, but then we are asking the residents, to pay a bigger jump. So that's what we're trying to balance here, as you can understand. So I just wanted to make sure that the other ones that were in line right now, we would have the money to fund those. The other ones ahead of that, well, the boat, you just put in new engines, and I
Yep.
assume that boat, unless we hit something,
Well, that's what-
Right, but
Oh,
that,
sure.
that didn't come out, that was raised.
Right.
So that's not an operating expense.
I noticed, but I just throw something else out. We spent $130,000 on engines, I understand that, and that's raised with T-shirt sales.
Right, so it's obsolete.
And Scotty's having another banner year, by the way.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, we're all in this together. And I appreciate you doing that. I mean, if that would have come to the village
Or
board.
it didn't though.
Matt, you're missing my.
No,
point.
I'm not missing your point. My
Well,
point,
let me finish making my point, and then you can tell me I'm missing it. That it would not be wrong if those people would help us do some of these other things beyond the engines. Maybe even think about, hey, it's 300,000, maybe we'll put in 50 or something easy. I'm just suggesting that that could be another place to help out the village, because it's for the good of all of us. And we have a limited amount of money. And we still have projects we have to do with that money.
The firefighters association paid for the brush truck.
And I think they paid for the update of all the air gear too, didn't they?
I'm not sure about.
Okay.
I think we did that one.
we did
Okay.
that one.
But I do know that they do
Oh, and I,
come in and contribute.
speaking kind of for the association, you
Mhm.
know, obviously every year we solicit for fundraising
Right.
stuff, and we would, I'm sure, be on board with helping out with a project like this.
Yeah.
No, if we got the truck, you know, there'd be, you know, refitting our equipment to
Mhm.
mount it and stuff like that, so, you know, participate in that somehow, or however it worked out.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I mean, we have the money set aside. We don't have to dip into any other funds. And it sounds like if the next big one is 11 years down the road and we're putting in 70 a year, that's $700,000. So who knows what that pump will cost then? And this pumper we bought new. Do we look, I'm just kind of curious now, is there anything wrong with looking at pumpers used also when we get to that point?
It all depends, if you go to, you know, big city stuff, usually it's just simply worn out.
Yeah.
But, you know, the recommended by fire industry is 20 to 25 years maximum for service life, but, you know, that's for busier departments and stuff like that, so, you know, everything with the village, you know, is risk benefit
Right.
type of stuff, so something to decide at that time.
Yes, I appreciate your frugal approach in this whole thing, you know.
I've bought a few fire trucks over the years.
Okay.
One question that I don't know has been said is, how often do these mini pumpers come up for auction?
Like this one, not very often at all.
And I'll call it, what's the best way to describe it? Basically, the dimensions of this thing are, it looks like a bigger truck than obviously what we have because it is taller. But the length and the width,
And
wheelbase,
it's about 6 inches longer than what we have now.
so it'll go down North Shore Road
Yes,
as well as anything could go down North Shore Road.
right.
Okay,
The propane truck will fit, it's about the same size.
okay.
Are we unique in that, having a mini pumper? I mean, the other departments up here have like a mainline engine and then a smaller, or?
Bailey's Harbor has a smaller pumper
Okay.
that, you know, that would be another thing, you know, when our big engine had some service work that needed to be done, they loaned us that truck. So we had a Class A pumper to respond
That's
with
right. Remember that.
the right size
Yeah.
crew on it. So, yeah, it's a specialty piece, you know, and we all are familiar enough with all our neighbors that, you know, everybody, you know, came up again the other night. Sister Bay has, Liberty Grove has all this shoreline and no boat. It's like, you know, Chris and Justin debated it years ago. We have a boat, they have a tower truck. And that's well in excess of $1 million value now. So, you know, it's a trade-off. They have their big pumper truck with a Nile hose on it that they'll bring anytime we ask. So, you know, if this can offer a little more equipment for our neighbors when they need us, that'd be great.
It's the world we're living in.
Yeah,
Other questions? And let's talk a little bit then about conditions. And I know you've already got a program, but we should talk about that too. What would be the
Right.
conditions of the purchase? And I think you've already suggested a number.
Yeah.
Because this is a sealed bid, they'll open up, who's ever high walks away with this.
they didn't call it a sealed bid, they called offer to purchase for,
Purchase.
yeah, so they're,
Is it an auction or it's not?
it's not an auction.
No, it's not.
Basically, it sounds like it is like a sealed bid, like you give your offer with, you know, whatever contingencies that we want to throw in there.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, if they open it up and it's being that it's through a broker, chances are they're gonna take the highest bid. You know, it's,
So 300,000 is like the buy it now price, or is that?
300,000 is the
Opening.
opening bid. That's, yeah.
When they told me this morning via email that they have two offers above the asking price, so. At our meeting, we came up with a number, you know, it's like the price is right, you know, add an extra dollar or whatever, where do you go? And at the time, at that meeting, it was 317 was what we were proposing.
Mhm.
But given that there's two offers, you know, now the group of officers are, you know, can see how like 332.5 would.
332.
And it's just, you know, it's all about, you know, price is right.
Right, I know. Yes,
So,
it's a fair way to sell it. Can't blame them for that, but yeah, you don't, it's not an auction.
No, yeah,
and,
you have to bid based on fear.
Based on what you think it's worth.
Right.
and, you know, to find anything equivalent that, you know, this one, like I said, checks all the boxes as far as I can see, would be double easily.
That's what I was gonna ask, and I know now it's an older truck, so what did this truck cost when it was built, do you have any idea?
I don't.
Okay. But if you bought one comparable on the market today, you're saying it'd be double that, or I think you mentioned that it could be
A million.
A new one, yeah.
it'd be $1 million. Yep.
It's
It's
pretty much any pumper is going, brand new is going for 900, 1 million plus. And those prices just don't seem to be coming down at all.
Big Harbor's got one that's, you know, just a standard pumper like our big one.
Uh-huh.
And I don't even know what the price is on that. It's supposed to be delivered in the next couple of weeks, and I know it's over $1 million, but I don't know how much.
Yeah, well, Justin's estimate of replacing a big pumper, was 1.5 to 2.5 now.
Yeah,
It's a pretty
it's
wide
just-
range, but.
It's obscene.
I wanna say it was like 1.3 or something, and that was years ago.
That was 2-year wait.
No,
Oh.
at
Ed
least.
Murphy.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, kid.
Well, we got a bargain in 2012 for only $500,000. Justin had that.
Yeah.
Because that's a round number, it probably wasn't exactly that, but.
Yeah, and that was, with, especially with the way that, materials and everything have been going with, you know, through COVID and everything jumped up and
Yep.
it's, just doesn't seem like anything's going back to where it should be.
No, still waiting.
No, it won't.
It's not gonna happen.
There's-
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, with the fire industry, there's a lot of litigation that's starting to come up with corporations all consolidating and, you know, they're claiming price fixing and stuff like that. So we'll see how that plays out long term.
Yeah.
But,
How many manufacturers are there of like pumpers in the US today?
not nearly as many as there used to be. There used to be regional ones, you know, and you know, go to the local dealer.
Because we had a couple of.
Yeah. There still are, but they're all being bought out by corporations and, you know, It's the same with every industry. So the exact number, I honestly don't know.
Before we get to a motion, why don't we spend a minute and talk about the conditions? Now, you're suggesting 332.5, is that?
Yes.
accurate? So if we have a motion, or we can set up whatever we want, if we think we know the industry better, these guys.
John, the agreement to purchase, I guess, not offer to purchase, you got that from them?
Yes.
Okay.
And I let them know that there would be revisions most likely.
Okay.
And
So were they
once we
agreeable,
know what they are, we'll,
were they agreeable to the contingent upon inspection? Because the way the boilerplate one is kind of drawn up, it, you know, certainly goes in, sold as is, no warranties, no whatever. And again, if it's not a sealed bid, they, again, probably don't have to follow competitive bargaining like we do.
well,
Again, I think we definitely need an inspection,
oh, yeah,
but
absolutely.
if we bid 332, someone else bids 330 with as is,
Right, they win.
they might go, but I guess relative to timeline, I'm not sure how concerned we need to be with making sure we're
It's gonna be-
protecting this document, but if you want this to go out today, it's 1 o'clock.
Do we have to sign this document to make the bid?
So there's no time for, you know, our attorney to review or anything like that at this point, so.
To me, it's kind of, you know, this is our terms, you know, whether you accept them.
Oh.
We hope you do, but if you don't.
Our only insurance policy is if we can inspect it and make sure that what we're paying for is what we're getting.
Yeah, it's not a big enough.
Right.
Right.
So we would have to make it clear if we're gonna sign this agreement, that beyond this agreement, our bid includes an inspection within, we're gonna have to give them a timeframe.
think
Which
Justin
is,
suggested
I have
that,
that in the email by
It has to be
next
inspected
Sunday night.
with the right to rescind it.
Right.
So hopefully you gotta,
So you're saying 1 week, basically?
Where, are you willing to read that?
as a board member, like anybody else, sure.
Yeah. You've got a little more knowledge than for these I as a board member. If you take, and if you find something that's just,
I'll call our lawyer.
yeah, it's a deal, yeah. Because how many days do we have to make this, when is this offer due, Sunday night?
From my talking with you and Justin, they were hoping to get this out today.
Well, but when does it have to be out? Yeah, there's no sense getting it before it has to.
I don't know when their meeting is. You know,
I thought
Sometime
sometime,
Monday.
Yeah, that could be, you know, we have meetings at 8 AM in the morning or noon or 7 o'clock at night.
Is it a public open meeting? Do they have it posted?
oh, it's a private deal, there's probably nothing, you know.
But it's a meeting of the board of the municipality.
Oh, they're gonna, okay, so this is a broker, he's sending all these bids to the owner,
Correct.
and the owner will,
so if you pull up page 3 of the,
the agreement?
not the agreement, sorry, in the packet, there's the officers proposed, I mean, it was 317 at that point.
Right.
Right, there, yeah.
Prior to August 23rd, so that would be Sunday, right? Contingent on an in-person inspection of the engine by apparatus committee at the Sellers facility in Katona, New York, to be completed by 11:59 Sunday, August 31st, 2026. The above asking price offers based on information from the apparatus broker that there are already full price offers tendered to the seller.
Full price, but in excess of full price, right?
Yeah. Now, you know, that was this morning, they
Yeah.
told me
What did they say?
they had 2 offers above asking price.
So how do we get it here?
Put it on a truck.
Low boy.
Okay, so that 332, that doesn't count, that's
Right,
additional.
and that's where, you know, maybe the association would come in.
Yeah, what, you estimate 5,000 to 7,000?
6 to 8.
6 to 8. That, you know, I just punched it into AI and saw what it had to say, but, you know, maybe somebody like Danny Crystal do us a favor.
Yeah.
Run to New York, yeah. And with Pierce and Seagrave and everybody being in the neighborhood, they're always trucking vehicles all over the place. Somebody might be looking for, have an empty truck coming back that handles fire trucks regularly.
There's some online brokers you can go to.
Yeah.
Just check out where you're going. They shop a whole bunch of
Yep.
moving companies. Are we, before we get to the motion, are we comfortable with the $332,500? And then what's, asking Rick to read this, what's outlined there, somehow we have to find a way to attach that to the agreement, right? So that they know that we're gonna come and inspect it. And we have the right to walk away if it's not as represented, I don't know how to word it.
As described.
As described, but we have to add that on to their standard agreement before we sign it.
Well, as an addendum, I suppose.
I'm just thinking of buying a house, that's when it gets to be, and,
Right.
anything other than the boilerplate.
Just needs to be stated.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be stated in the agreement.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the body of it or addendum somewhere where it's above the signature. It seems to me.
Would you be willing to take a look?
I'll take a look.
Thank you. What other conditions? We're saying that we have to, they've already said we have to the 31st to pick it up, to pay and pick it up. I guess.
No, that was their
That's all.
suggestion.
Oh, okay, so that's something else. What is the agreement call for?
That doesn't really say.
Get off our property by tomorrow night?
No,
Was that?
That's probably not a big issue, as far as removing it and getting it shipped as much as it is giving the money. That's what the issue's probably gonna be. So we have to have enough time to inspect.
They're not saying in the description or their offer or their listing that the truck has to be removed from their property.
Not that I've seen.
Okay. Upon sale or upon agreement.
I mean, this, if we're gonna do it with these things that we're asking, rights, what are our rights, inspection rights and the time from law, I mean, we should talk about the amount of time we need, I mean, who's going, I would wanna know, do we get a week to do this? And then after, we find out that there is this problem and we don't want it, how many hours or days do we have to communicate to them? What form is that communication? That's why contracts become long and wordy. And all the stuff that is boilerplate, in normal contracts, that's all been litigated for, a century. That's why they look that way. And so if we're doing this from scratch, I mean, I'll look at it, but I'd be more comfortable if we as a board all looked at it. Because there's a lot to this, and I think that, we can talk about it right now and just say, okay, I'll be on it and everything, I can get out and look at it. I need a day or two, to make a good informed decision on whether I recommend that we follow through with this. And then Brent will have to have some time to draft a response, probably in writing, I guess, right? To them saying we are out of this deal, what does all that look like? I know that sounds like overthinking, but this is what lawyers do, to make sure that we get out of this thing without a lawsuit.
Right.
Lawsuit means that we failed. So we're trying to avoid that.
Is there a deposit that we have to make in order to submit the bid? And I haven't read this, if this contract was in the package, I just.
There was no deposit required, not in the contract.
Okay, so
I didn't see
you just stated bid, and then if you win, there must be language of how soon you have to come up with the money.
Didn't even say that. See that?
Well, let's not overcomplicate that part.
Yeah, let's not, if it's silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole contract?
yeah, well, it's agreement to purchase,
Keep scrolling, what do we got?
I think,
How many pages?
just page and a half.
yeah.
Go to the bottom. Right.
What's the
This
signature?
page or the bottom?
Signatures?
Let me do this.
Here's the title, give me the 332.5.
Tail light warranty.
Rick, you were licensed in New York, weren't you? Rick?
Yeah, no,
I'm kidding.
week-long bar exam. I mean, there needs to be more than this. You know, and I hesitate to make a representation here because then now I'm acting as the lawyer for this board and I can't do it. Okay? But I'll just say, as long as we're all discussing it, just as a member of this board, there needs to be at least another paragraph saying what our rescission rights are. That there needs to be something that says that they're saying that they're selling it without a warranty and that we're buying it without a warranty. So if we don't do that and it doesn't even make it out of the driveway of New York,
Right.
that's ours. That's our boat anchor sitting out there. So I would say that we need to have a paragraph, a new paragraph 7, move the other one down to 8, and we flesh out what our rights are after the inspection rights and what our rights are. And I think it should be a blanket if we don't like the color, if we don't like,
Wipers bent.
if the wiper is bent, any reason that we're out at our sole discretion. And, yeah, at our sole discretion, and that we have, give ourselves 2 days to communicate that, deliverable by US mail, certified US mail. I'll throw that out and then we can decide what that looks like, but I think that those are the main points.
But then before that, we want a week to inspect and to get back to with that decision.
Exactly, whatever you think you can do, so I get a basic recommendation on who's doing the inspecting. Yeah, I can get there, I know, flight schedules, all this and that can throw things off. If I have 24 hours with this truck, I can make a good sound recommendation to continue or not. And if I just don't like the smell of it, we're out. That's what I think that last paragraph should say.
How, you know where it is, how long would it take? Are you going? Who would be going?
Probably, yeah. I would be going for sure. All depends on what I can come up with for transportation. The 17-hour drive, so that's kind of not gonna happen.
No.
But, depending on what we decide and how I can work things, and depends on flight schedules. And Dave, if we had him go, it depends on his schedule. So,
Have you talked to David all
not about traveling up there yet.
Yeah, okay.
He's, pretty good to deal with on our end, yeah.
Maybe, let's not make our life impossible.
Yeah.
Maybe if 10 days is the right number rather than 7. I mean, if our offer is a high offer, they're probably gonna put up this stuff. If it's a close, they might not like.
Yeah.
Right, but maybe think of what you and Dave would need to get out there, get back, obviously fly and the village will cover the costs of getting out there and getting back, because we're not thinking about driving that thing back, right? That's gonna
No.
be transported, right? Okay.
That's when the transmission leaves the equation in
Always.
Ohio or something.
Yeah. That'd be an expensive tow bag. So think about would 10 days? Or do you want to talk to Dave first for fast call or
No,
before we put this letter together?
yeah, I guess 10 days, more business days, the better.
Yeah.
I have a question for Dave. Does he have like an OBD2 scanner? Does he run a scan?
He builds fire trucks.
But I mean, if he was inspected, is he?
Yeah, he can plug into anything.
Okay.
And then after that period, then there's this period that Rick would be talking about that we'd have to add 2 days to that we'll get back to with our decision, if we find a problem. I'm surprised they're not asking for a deposit. It's kind of wild.
I mean, I think they'd probably just be able to put it right back out again.
Oh, that must be what they think. I'm not an attorney, but as a layman, I would say, if there's enough interest in this, they're not gonna bother to be chasing us for anything. It's just, you guys are out. Next
Right.
guy's $2,000 left. You got it how you want.
Mhm.
So if there's that much to me
Yeah,
for this stuff.
The game we have to play.
Right. Well, I don't want to put you in a position that you don't have time to do this, so you have your whole schedule screwed up.
Right. And, honestly, when you look at a truck, a car, or boat, whatever it is, you walk up to it and start looking at it, you can tell pretty quickly, it's just a matter of, pulling the dipstick and finding that there's no oil in it, or it's got shavings in the rear end or something like that. Well, that's the stuff that you need to catch.
Yeah, I would think that almost all fire departments, almost all of them take care of their equipment very well. So it's the safety there.
But with the mileage it has on it, I'm not expecting any surprises.
You sell, I feel like about 550 hours on the engine or something?
Yeah.
Not much.
We have to make sure that's the correct model number because
Oh.
that already says 2016.
It was manufactured, I think I saw on the tag.
Usually, that's
October,
when,
November of
yeah, that's
16.
when the chassis was manufactured and the truck was built.
Okay.
For what it's worth, our attorney, Matt, would possibly be available for a phone call at some point this afternoon,
Oh.
but he's out of the office.
Okay.
Current.
I wonder
It's the rest of the day.
but he could probably, it would take him long to review the page and a half kind.
Well, if he's in his car,
Right,
you know,
it might be hard.
No.
Okay, I'm glad he's available for phone call. So then if we have an idea, it'd be nice for him at least, it's short enough, you could almost read through it. Well, maybe so that we don't keep going around here, I guess the first question is everybody interested in doing this? Maybe just kind of go around the board and see. Are we satisfied with this? With the buying of the truck?
One, as long as we protect ourselves in the agreement, and two, basing this on, things I've heard about what it would cost us to do something new, and that it's needed, and that this doesn't put us in a vulnerable position as to this capital account. Based on all of those caveats, I would say yes.
Jim?
Yes, I didn't realize that this was the number one truck on the list, for next purchase. But obviously, it is. And I don't like the price, but welcome to the modern world. And 332.5, yeah, I think we have to do it.
Matt?
Yeah, as long as we do what Rich reiterated, I'm fine with it.
Carl? Oh, time for a new meeting.
Yeah, no. One thing that I never like to make is the rush decision, but this kind of puts us in that position to do it. But, everything I'm hearing and everything I'm hearing about the needs, and again, so much of what everyone has said, my mind has definitely been convinced that it makes sense to at least go for this and take advantage of this opportunity that doesn't seem to come up very often.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wish it could have gone through your committee, because there's some people that have opinions, and I would like them to be able to weigh in. On the other hand, I realize when you're buying something used, you were equating it to buying a house. You decide to buy a house, and you go along for months and months looking, all someone comes up and you've got 24 hours to make an offer. So if you are convinced, and it seems like a good offer for our top need, and we don't have another big need coming up for a good 10 years. I would support it.
For what it's worth, just one other thing. And it started with what Carly said. We actually are, for us five, this is fairly new, but the fire department personnel have been looking.
Right.
And they have had this on their mind.
Yeah.
So it isn't, it's brand new to us because we've got people.
Yeah.
And the people are making the recommendation. I feel better about that. And thanks for both of you showing up.
Yes.
Because it makes.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to feel good about this.
And it has been a periodic conversation on this VC, but never so specifically.
Well, I think it was a year ago that I asked, and you were at the meeting too, the first meeting we have on these capital accounts, and asked Justin to do this. So it's not new to me because I've seen this list, but probably we ought to do a good job in the future of when we do our budget plan in October, of everybody going through these big capital accounts, even Public Works. I mean, they buy expensive stuff too.
Yep.
And they're going through these and convincing the whole board that here's what's coming up.
Yeah.
Spend a little more time on that.
So I roughed out maybe a final paragraph here that we're talking about. This is just for all of us to kick around and all of us put our opinion on it, but that should say something to the effect of seller grants to purchaser the right to inspect the vehicle at location within days, or maybe put in there, of acceptance of this agreement. Purchaser shall notify in writing deliverable by certified US mail as to whether the vehicle is acceptable to the purchaser within X days of the inspection. Seller further grants to purchaser the right to rescind this agreement at the sole discretion of the purchaser. Those, I think, are the main points we want to get across, but what do you guys think about that? What does the board think about that? A paragraph.
I think that covered the items that we wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without getting overbearing or onerous about it.
But you didn't say whereas once. Did you?
I controlled myself.
Thank you.
I said and, and with, or things like that.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that sounds good. So do we want to go with the motion, maybe for include the price and what was, we want to talk about the offer?
What about the days?
What was just read by Rick?
Yeah, we have to fill in the days.
So we're talking 10 and 2?
Mhm.
I never heard for sure that 10 will work.
And
10
business days, do we want to say as opposed to?
he from Red Power? The guy that
Yeah,
was gonna
Dave.
come?
Yeah.
Because if he's going on vacation tomorrow morning, he's
Yeah.
gone for 2 weeks.
Well,
Well, then we have to get,
then we find somebody.
yeah,
else.
we have to get number 2.
We
Because
can't
otherwise,
stretch it out
we price it,
I don't think.
are out of the market. If we have to too much time, we're gonna sell for the next guy for
Yeah.
$10,000 less than before.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna be contacting the attorney to do that, I can
Okay.
check with Dave and see what his availability
But we
is.
won't fill in the days until we hear.
Yeah,
Okay.
not to exceed 10 days.
Right. Right, if you get out the sooner, fine,
Sooner the better.
that would be true.
And do we say 10 business days or do we say 10 days, period? I mean, I'm also out there.
I can't even remember the rule, but with a certain amount, it's assumed business days, but
Okay.
beyond it, it's weekends or,
Yeah.
I can't
And
remember.
if we have to mail a refusal, that would be,
Right, I have that in there.
Well, that would be-
within days of the inspection.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And it'd be by certified US mail.
Long as no overnight mail anymore. So that's-
I personally don't have a problem going on a weekend. So,
Appreciate that.
and Dave's
That's
a
what
pretty normal guy, so.
Well, just let Brett know.
Yeah.
Make sure you do that.
That's fine, and all, Justin wanted to go to Ground Zero, but he doesn't fly, so that's a non-factor.
Yeah, Justin,
Well, we're only going by plan, so sorry.
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah, that's it.
Are we ready for a motion? Take a motion?
I move to approve the purchase of the used 2016 HME 4x4 1,500 mini pumper truck, not to exceed $332,500 with the contingencies outlined previously.
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Tim.
Did you second that, Tim?
I second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks, Ken.
I just, I love my good ear.
This is like the old days, huh?
Yeah.
And I promised we were gonna do that. I did so good at the last meeting by saying, okay, here's the mover and here's the secondary.
Right.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, we could have done that. again.
anything, yeah, we could have, anything further? Then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
A second.
Aye.
Tim, Matt, all those in favor?
Aye.
Please say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.